Hey, this is Mark Moore, aka Tuxedo Mark, at various places on the internet. It's 12:20 a.m. according to a computer clock on Thursday, July 23rd, 2015. And this is my review of Archie #1. This is the Sanford Green cover, or I guess on the back it says cover I. Okay. There's some text on the back saying, okay, I'll read this. First quote from Archie: "Hi, my name is Archie." And then, "Change is coming to Riverdale. Famous faces return in bold and unexpected ways in this can't-miss kickoff to Archie's new ongoing series. The first new Archie #1 in 75 years. As the start of the school year approaches, you think Archie Andrews will be looking forward to classes and fun. Yet nothing is as it seems in the little town of Riverdale. But is this a one-off or a sign that even bigger changes are in store for America's favorite teens and their entire town?" Eisner Award-winning writer Mark Waid, Daredevil, Kingdom Come, and Eisner Award-winning artist Fiona Staples, Saga, reimagine an icon with a capital I. Okay. Are they kind of hedging their bets by saying, but is this a one-off? Like, are they saying, okay, if this fails, are we going back to traditional Archie? I don't know. This cover by Sanford Green isn't representative of the actual artwork on the inside. It's just his take on it. I notice whenever they do like a new look art style, they always seem to give Jughead a goatee or something. But anyway. The story's by Mark Waid, art by Fiona Staples, coloring by Andre Shimanovitz with Jen Vaughn, lettering by Jack Morelli, and publishers John Goldwater. He's the CEO. Co-CEO. So Nancy Silberkleid is still a co-CEO. I'm surprised that she's still there. Anyway, this issue is divided into 3 chapters, totaling 22 pages, which is the traditional length for an Archie story, for an Archie issue historically. I think more recently it's varied, but 22 is traditional. The first chapter is "There is this girl." The thing is, throughout the issue, Archie's breaking the fourth wall and addressing the audience to kind of give exposition. I'm not sure why they did this approach. It's kind of clumsy, because he's like talking to us while other characters are around him and they don't pay any attention, they don't notice. In fact, he's talking to us in a panel where he's walking away from us. And minor characters are in the foreground and they're talking among themselves. It's really strange. But anyway, here's the thing. Archie and Betty have broken up. Let's see. They've been a couple since kindergarten until last week. Until the lipstick incident. Apparently, she got so pissed off that she left him on a Ferris wheel. And yes, he's narrating to us within the flashback sequences. It's bizarre. There are a bunch of characters here, a lot of them that go unnamed. I'm trying to figure out who's who. But yeah, basically the plot among Archie's friends, and they want Jughead to go along with it, is to have Archie and Betty be elected a homecoming king and queen. And Jughead's gonna be their man on the inside to rig the ballots. They're getting all the students to vote for them. Jughead's supposed to handle the ballots. Archie is just dropping off some equipment at the gym, some music equipment, for some other band to play, and then he's coming home. Except, as it turns out, Jughead had sabotaged he had sabotaged the actual guitarist for the band to not show up, and so Archie has to play, and Archie's supposed to look awesome in front of Betty and stuff like that. Betty's elected queen, but Jughead had tossed all of Archie's ballots, or at least most of them, so some other dude named Trevor Smith is elected king, and he's surprised at that too. So yeah, Jughead plays innocent, but he said that instead, maybe, just maybe, what they need is to be reminded of what they're missing. So while Betty's dancing with Trevor, she sees Archie's on stage and she's missing him, and that's Jughead's plan. Jughead had smeared the other guitarist's steering wheel with crazy glue, and he's all pissed. And you got some curse words that are like scratched out or whatever. So they're going for a bit more grown-up feel. This is actually rated teen, but there's really not much in the way of language or anything in here. There is more so than an actual Archie comic, but there's a flashback where Betty's working on Archie's car, of course, like she always does, and she's like, "Oh my God, sweetie, how many times do I have to tell you to change the coolant?" So, oh my God. You don't hear that in Archie comics, but, well, I think you might have sometimes, like rarely, you might have heard God, but it's very rare. Reggie looks kind of weird in his redesign. He's kind of Latino, maybe. But anyway. Are they playing like Wii U or something? Because Reggie's got that big tablet-like control. I don't know. But anyway. When they're talking on... There's this one other character, hang on. Yeah, when they're talking about, rigging the election, this one character says, "Oh, hell no." And that's it. That's the extent of all the cursing in this story. But, alright, so that's the basic thing. And at the end, when, after Archie sees Jughead to his store, he's walking past the sign for Lodge Industries. It's coming to Riverdale. And Archie kind of foreshadows, the coming of Veronica. Maybe there's some amazing new girl just around the corner. To be continued. Yeah, so Veronica's showing up. So this is a reboot because Veronica is going to be arriving in the next issue. She's not in Riverdale yet. That's kind of how it was back in the day in the actual old Archie comics from the 40s. Veronica wasn't there at the beginning. In fact, they reprint the very first Archie story as a bonus after the little letter page thing. They reprint the story from it's untitled, but It's from Pep Comics number 22 from December of 1941. I don't know if that's the publication date or if that's the cover date, but yeah, so it's a 6-page story. It gets things started. In this one, Betty's the new girl in the neighborhood, and Archie's trying to impress her and makes an enemy of her father, J.B. Cooper, who's like some kind of rich dude, or at least it's implied that he's rich. Archie wrecks Mr. Cooper's, no, he's also called Old Man Cooper. That's him in the glasses. Look what he says. "No, Siri, I carry this in myself. It's my picture in lodge uniform." Lodge uniform. Think about that. And later on, Betty is talking to Archie, and she's like, "Daddy's lodge is having a big carnival next week. And if you help out, he'll forget all about that portrait." Daddy's lodge. So it's clear that what happens here is Betty is supposed to be the well-to-do girl. Maybe not like a big millionaire like Veronica eventually is it's shown to be, because she moves into a regular house, but J.B. Cooper is an old guy just like Mr. Lodge will be, and he's a member of a lodge. So it's clear that this was the inspiration for Mr. Lodge, and and so yeah, this is kind of a prototype, and in fact, the characters aren't quite like actual teenagers yet. They might be teens, but they might be like 13 or something. Maybe even younger, I'm not sure. But in the very next story, they were all regular teens. But yeah, we get Archie, Betty, and Jughead here. And if you think about it, Betty came first, because she's on the left side of the first page. See? Okay. But yeah, overall this issue is good. It's definitely kind of a reboot, but some other characters that showed up way after Veronica, like within the last few years, they're here already. Kevin Keller is here. Let's see, who else? They mentioned Maria. They mentioned Moose. Oh yeah, Maria's here. That's like Maria Hernandez, I think. She's a character that was introduced in the 70s. Sheila, I think that's her with a bit of red or pink in her hair. She's Sheila Wu. I think she was introduced in the New Kids Off the Wall storyline from just a few years ago. It's been collected in a trade paperback called Clash of the New Kids. But basically, Sheila and some other kids are new transfers to Riverdale High after budget cuts forced the closing of their school, or schools. I'm not sure who this is. Is that Maria? Yeah, I think that's supposed to be Maria. Sometimes it's hard to identify if these characters are supposed to be characters that we know, or like if they're just random students. Because Archie Comics does have plenty of random students. Oh, wait, we see Archie's dad. he looks pretty much the same. And in fact, Mr. Lodge also looks pretty much the same. Let's see. When you see him on the billboard at the end. So, I mean, these characters look pretty recognizable. Obviously, it's not the old Archie house style, but you could pretty much tell who's who. I like this one part. Okay, I should mention the chapter names. When they're rigging the election, chapter 2 is called I Be a Genius. That's a reference to Sheila Wu's quote later on. Yeah, they're trying to be like hip and stuff. Chapter 3, the title is just a musical note, which is odd. I guess it signifies the dance or the music or whatever. And that's it. Reggie doesn't seem to like that Archie's being popular among the girls with his music. I guess this will lead into the formation of the Archies, because I don't think they're formed yet. This is Homecoming, which means it's supposed to take place in October, I guess? Oh, we see Mr. Weatherby. Archie specifically calls him Principal Weatherby, I guess just exposition for new readers or whatever. He looks pretty much the same. And, there's not much else to say about the story. It's a very... It's a usual, basic, traditional Archie story, except it's a reboot, or a soft reboot, or something. I guess this will be the new continuity going forward, at least in the floppies. In the digest, the traditional Archie house style stories are going to continue, with new stories added into each digest. So are we looking at two separate Archie continuities, or is this supposed to be like put into the existing Archie universe? You know, such as it is, Archie doesn't have much continuity, but they do keep some things in mind, they do recall some things, but anyway, after the reprint of Archie, of the first Archie story, there's a cover gallery for Archie #1. I don't know if these are even all of them. There were a lot of covers. Preview of Archie #2. I want to get this cover. I like Betty. I got this one because it was the only one with Betty that was still left on T-Fall. In fact, looking at these, I know these aren't all of the Archie #1 covers. They just put in as many as they could fit on 2 pages, I guess. Anyway, Betty's trying on a dress for what? I mean, if we already had Homecoming in this issue, what's next? I mean, a winter dance maybe? And why are they publishing this in July? Wouldn't it make more sense to wait till like September or October? And in fact, on the back of this, it says, as the start of the school year approaches, but they're already in the school year in the actual issue. But anyway, back inside back cover, more than burgers, but mostly burgers. Jughead. Getting in his head. 10, 7, 15. So October 7th is supposed to be when Jughead #1, the reboot, comes out. This is the first I've heard of confirmation of Jughead #1. I mean, I know Archie had done some kind of Kickstarter that failed and they quickly canceled it to raise additional money to like help out with the publications of Jughead #1 and Betty and Veronica #1. But they said they were going to go on with those anyway. It's just that the Kickstarter was supposed to be to raise some extra cash, which is a bad sign for a comic book publisher to do. But anyway, this is a good issue. I like it, and I look forward to what happens next. I don't know what school year that this is supposed to be. I mean, I assume it's like the 2015-2016 school year, but what grade are they supposed to be in? Archie and his pals are usually somewhere vaguely in the junior or senior years of high school. But if they're doing like a reboot showing like the origin of, the love triangle, and they're showing Veronica arriving, would they really want to wait till senior year or even junior year to introduce her? I mean, wouldn't they set it a bit earlier to have her have a bit more history with the gang? So I don't know what year that they're supposed to be in. Maybe there will be some clarification later on. Oh, and Archie tells us to tweet at Archie Comics #lipstick incident. Yes, he actually says that. He's addressing the readers to go online and talk about this. But it's a good story. Maybe not exactly how I would have done it. I mean, if I was setting things up from the beginning, I would have done like the beginning of high school with some flashbacks to when the characters meet, like in, I don't know, kindergarten or pre-K maybe, but I can't help feeling weird that Veronica is gonna be the new girl, and everyone else, as far as we know, that debuted long after Veronica, they're already here. Well, Veronica does appear on this variant cover, I guess. I assume it's her. Although I don't know if Veronica would dress in sweatpants at school, but it sounds like a fashion don't. But and what the heck's Betty wearing around her neck? Some kind of bandana or something? I'm gonna stop. Alright, good issue, check it out. It's 10:43 a.m. and that's it. Thanks for watching.